What's up? My name is Fletch. I am a yoga instructor, and today we're going to do 20 minutes of mobility work. So start by crawling all the way out into a high plank position. Think about stacking your wrists right underneath your elbows and then elbows underneath your shoulders. From this high plank, come all the way down to low plank, press up, upward facing dog, and then shift your weight back, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. So shift weight from one foot to the other, bending one knee at a time. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings, and then try to open up through your chest as well. So pressing your hips back, then right foot comes up, and then bring that right foot all the way through for a kneeling lunge. Try to get that left hip crease going forward. And then the purpose and intention around this exercise is trying to get that knee to glide over your right ankle. Try to keep that right heel on the ground as much as you can. Arms come up on the inhale, and then exhale, bring them down. Inhale, bring them up. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Arms come down, right foot goes back to meet your left, high plank. Feel how your weight gets distributed amongst each hand, and then come up, upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more length. This time, left foot comes up, right knee comes down to the ground. Press that right hip crease forward, and then try to keep your left heel on the ground as you shift your weight forward and back. Every time we move with our joints, we are releasing what's called synovial fluid, which is almost like a liquid in between your joints, which helps keep your joints healthy. When you're ready, bring your hands all the way back down to the mat, to the turf, to the ground. High plank, and then to get our shoulders warmed up, we'll do shoulder taps. You can always come down onto your knees if you need to, but see if you can brace your core and then shift your weight from side to side, and then bring that right leg all the way back up for setting up for almost an active lizard lunge. So lizard lunge, we'd bring the knee all the way back down, but this time we're going from a high plank. Bring that leg outside of your hand, and this should feel a stretch in the outside part of your hip or the groin. So the foot comes outside of that hand, lean into it, and before you're getting stuck and making it passive, you come all the way back to that high plank. So find a little bit of flow here. See if you can partner movement with breath. You can even shift all the way back to a downward facing dog and make it a little bit more intense if you want, like a Dassault. Or if your body is calling for it, you can hang out in a lizard lunge. Maybe it's baby pulses here that you feel your body needs. Once again, foot is coming to the outside of your hand. See how low you can go. See if you can use the power of the breath to go just a little bit deeper. And then when you're ready, we'll meet all the way back in this high plank position. And this time, walk your feet, baby step all the way up to meet your hands. Now allow that upper body to just hang here, and then opposite hand reaches for opposite elbow for a full ragdoll, and then let that body sway side to side. Think about grounding through your heels, right? Allow your neck to release, and then when you're ready, we'll do some side to side twists. So right hand comes up, then left hand comes up. And something that's really helpful here is bending one knee. So bend and then allow the other leg to straighten. And then the gaze comes up and follows the hand that is rising. So inhale, exhale, inhale, and then exhale. Wiggle those feet all the way out, and we will land in a sumo squat. Everyone's going to have a different sumo squat, right, depending on your hips and what they're capable of doing. This is a very easy position for a lot of people. It's also very hard for others. So we're going to start by allowing our knees to flow side to side. You can go as fast or as slow as you want in this position. Something that's very fun for me is just the ability to shift weight from side to side. And I'm just trying to allow my knees to kiss the ground, okay? Maybe you add a little rise, but see if you can find a little bit of comfort here in the discomfort. Try to find a flat back. Use your elbows to press up against your knees. Find a longer breath, and then ground through your heels, and we'll come all the way up into a standing position. Widen out your feet. Feel your weight go from side to side, and then widen them out all the way out to almost wide-legged forward fold feet, and then shift all your weight to the right, to the left. Now, side lunges, you want to think about how you are distributing your weight, and it's not about how deep you go. I think it's more so about the integrity of the pose and the integrity of the movement. Once again, the way to take this from it being passive to active is try to explore what your body needs. Something I love to do is almost treat it as like a circle and going from side to side. So shift weight from right, left, and feel that in your body. Think about pointing that toe all the way up towards the sky. And if you want, you can always add a little opening with the chest so the left hand is coming up. This side is a little bit harder for me. I don't have as good of hip mobility on the left side, so I can't really get my hand up there yet. Explore here, going from side to side. And then when you're ready, turn that left foot so you're on the ball of that left foot, and then left hand comes down to the ground, and then right hand comes up, and then we'll switch. So right hand comes down, left hand comes down. So you're going from a wide-legged forward fold into a revolving runner's lunge, which becomes very fun. If you have shoes, it might be a little harder. If you're wearing socks, this might be pretty easy for you, but find a little bit of fluidity as you go back and forth between those movements. When you're ready, we'll arrive and meet in a wide-legged forward fold. So widen out your legs and then reach forward, stretching through your hamstrings. Maybe you get a little bounce in, and then we'll do some T-spine twists again. So left hand comes down, right hand goes up, right hand comes down, left hand goes up. And then see if you can flex through your glutes as much as you can, and then wiggle your feet in for goddess feet, and then press down, wiggle it out. You might be feeling this in your thighs by now. I am, for sure. All right, round 2 of the wide-legged forward fold. Flex through your legs, widen out your stance, hinge your chest forward. Feel the stretch in your hamstrings. Go a little bit deeper, then walk your hands over to the right side, and then walk your hands over to the left side. Right side and left side, right side. And then swivel onto the ball of that back foot. Meet in a high plank position. High plank, come all the way down, low plank, press it up, upward facing dog. and then press it all the way back, downward facing dog. Pedal it out. From downward facing dog, we will set up for 90-90. So bring that left leg forward into a 90 degrees. I'm gonna swivel around here so you can see me. So right leg is at 90 degrees, left leg also at 90 degrees. This is a great prereq for any sort of pigeon pose that you're trying to do. It's an awesome way to just get into your hips. So hands can be on the ground or right there at heart center. First thing we're going to do is what I like to call hip flossing. So that's just windshield wiper your legs side to side and just feeling it in your hips. So once again, you can keep hands on the ground or you can bring them up towards your chest. Go slow here so you can feel your hips. If this is really tough for you, then try to use a pillow or something underneath your hips to give you a little bit of comfort. And then once you get the hang of it and have a little bit more space in your hips, then what you can start to do is play around with no hands. And then from no hands, you can start to hinge your chest forward over that leg. So feel it from side to side. This is such a great way to warm up your hips. So if you're going to run, if you're going to go squat, if you're going to go play a sport, tennis, pickleball, splendid. So first thing we're going to do here in 90-90 is raising each leg. So we'll raise up that left leg and then raise the right leg. So the only thing that's moving is the leg. And then the last thing is push that knee into the ground and then lift up that right foot. And then we'll open up that right knee. Left knee is staying down on the ground. And then right when you reach the top and your right leg can't go any further, that's when you bring the left leg all the way over. And let's go other side. So, little back crack. Hands are going down, pressing into the ground. And then try to use the power of that right leg here. Flex to that right foot. Something's on my foot right here. Looks like a little specimen. Lift up that right leg. Flex, 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 flex. And then bring it down. And then lift up that left leg. Flex, flex, flex. Beautiful. And then press that left knee and then just lift up that left foot. Wonderful. And if you can't lift it up, that is completely fine. Just see if you can create the connection between brain and body and that you're actively trying to do it. Here's another layer on top of the hip flossing. So instead of just getting caught at the bottom here, now the goal can be to push up. So using that top leg of the 90-90 position, press all the way up. So explore this in your body, going from side to side and see how it feels. Once again, if this is not something that you can do yet, that is completely fine. You can always build up to this. Trust me, this has taken me years just to get to this position, and I see people on YouTube, Instagram who are just full rubber bands. So it's even hard for me to put something like this out because I see people have so much more space in their bodies, where if I compare it, I'm like, oh wow, I'm very far away from that. So now from 90-90, I'm going to find a resting position here in pigeon. So try to get the side of your hip to touch the ground and then just breathe here in pigeon. And then we'll shift over and do the other side. Get any last little movements that you need to here. And then something I love to do is after I've warmed up my hips and my hips feel loose and lubricated, is to really try to create some sort of strengthening exercise around them. So I'm not just continually stretching them, but I'm also strengthening them. So find the fleshy part where your sit bones are grounded down into the ground, and then pulse up with your right quad, flexing through the right foot for around 5 to 10 reps. You want to try to brace your core. You should feel this in your hips and your core. You can always bring your hands down on the ground to help give you a little bit more leverage. Now let's go left side. So flex through that left quad and then lift up for around 5 to 10 reps here. Make sure your sit bones are connected down to the ground and you're feeling that hip. Next, we'll meet in a butterfly position. So hands are going down towards your feet and then open up with your hips. Hinge that chest forward and then just breathe. Take a second here to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Maybe you hit a little cat-cow in this position, articulating your spine and hollowing out your back as much as you can. And then when you're ready, we'll swivel all the way around into a tabletop position. Bring your hips back and then come all the way up into a cat. Think about cat as your back is going all the way up towards the sky. And then I'm gonna get into my wrists a little bit more here and into the forearms. So fingertips are going back towards knees and then shift your hips back. Especially if you spend a lot of time typing or writing, the wrist and the forearms can get super tight. So this is a great stretch and way to just relieve some of the pressure and build up that we get in our hands. From tabletop, come all the way back onto your knees and we'll set up for another kneeling lunge. And this time, kneeling lunge, hands go behind your head, and then we'll get into a little bit more of spinal rotation. So this is really trying to further your T-spine mobility. So your elbows are going back. You're keeping your chest as open as you can. Your left hip is going forward and the top of your left foot is going down towards the ground. Now what I'm trying to do is basically create a little bit more openness. So I'm going to switch sides here. Right knee is coming down and that left ankle stacked directly over my left knee. And maybe you can see on this side too. I'm trying to keep everything open and then keep a rotation going. So let's go other side. So right knee is plugged into the ground and then left knee is over left ankle and hands go behind head and then try to swivel from side to side, pressing your elbows back and then your head is pressing into your hands to try to keep a long spine. And then we'll do some T-spine twists. So using your core here to go from side to side. When you're ready, we'll come up and out of it and all the way back over to the other side. And this time, as we lunge forward, reach all the way up, creating as much length as you can. And then see if you can play around with lifting that left foot, flexing the hamstring, and then press all the way back into a half split. So flexing that right foot, and maybe you're pressing on the gas with that right foot. Extend it out as long as you need to. So there are certain people who say, hey, you need to keep a flat back. Other people who say, hey, you can go curved back. Personally, I feel as long as I'm feeling my hamstring being stretched, then I will do whatever I wish with my back. Left hand comes down, then right hand goes all the way up for a twist. Now we'll go over to the other side. You can stay in this as long as you need to. So right knee is down on the ground, and then that left knee is stacked over left ankle. Try to find as much length as you can until you push all the way back into a half split. So once again, in a half split, try to keep that foot flexed and then feel with that hamstring. I'm trying to keep my neck a little bit more tucked, or my chin tucked, so my neck doesn't lunge or hinge forward. And if you want a little twist, you can. So right hand is coming down to ground or a block, and then try to create a little bit more length here. This is great for my IT bands, which end up getting super duper tight. All right, that's it. You can watch this video whenever you want. If you got any questions, leave them in comments. I love mobility work. It's been transformative for me in my movement journey. Thanks, and follow along for more.